So we're currently getting ready to go out to a slot canyon that I've wanted to explore for years. There's two ways to get out there. You can either hike out to the slot canyon, which is about 8 miles round trip, or you can drive to the beginning of the slot canyon, but the road out is pretty sandy. It requires a high clearance 4-wheel drive vehicle. That's why we haven't done it in the past, but we have the right vehicle now. My husband also has a lot of experience driving deep sandy roads, so I'm confident in his ability to drive. I would not be going out here on my own, even with the right vehicle. Right now, we're just in the staging area. My husband's airing down the tires, and then we're gonna get ready to head out. I'm a little nervous about tackling this road, but we've been down some pretty rough, sandy roads across the Southwest, so I know we can handle it, but still a little nervous. So we've got all the tires aired down. We're ready to head out. So come along with me to explore Peekaboo Slot Canyon. Oh boy, starting right off with the sand. Easy, easy. We were down here a couple of years ago and I considered hiking this trail out to the Slot Canyon, and now that we're on the road driving out, I'm really glad that we didn't. I have to say, my least favorite type of trail to hike through is sand. A sandy, like a thick, fine, sandy trail. It just slows you down. It's a slog to walk through. Not a fun time. Very happy that we have the right vehicle for this. If you don't have a 4x4 vehicle and you also don't want to walk the long sandy road, you can also hire a guide to take you out here. I know there are a few guides in the Kanab area that they'll bring people out in Jeeps, things like that. And obviously a guide is going to be familiar with the road, so you're going to be in good hands. First rule of hiking through a slot canyon is that you never ever enter a slot canyon if there is any risk of rain. And so this is the perfect day to be exploring. There's 0 clouds in the sky. Winter is honestly just a really great time of year to explore slot canyons, visit southern Utah. Personally, my favorite time of year to be down here. Go. This is a cool spot. The end. Obviously, William had to stem his way up to prove that he could overcome the obstacle if he needed to. Okay, so here are my honest thoughts about Peekaboo Slot Canyon. And just to be clear, this is Peekaboo Slot Canyon near Kanab, not Peekaboo Slot Canyon near Escalante. That is a very different hike. Honest opinion about the Slot Canyon, it's pretty. Every slot canyon is going to be pretty, that's a given. Is it worth hiking 8 miles for a little 1/4 mile slot canyon? I personally don't think so. I think if you have the right vehicle, you want to drive out here, have that experience, it's really fun. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze if you're going to hike out here though. I think there are a lot of other slot canyons in southern Utah that are better. And when I say better, I mean the canyon walls are taller, it's narrower, things like that, more photogenic in general. So I don't know if I would hike 8 miles. But like I said, if you have the right vehicle, you want to drive out, it's really pretty. But if you're looking for like a slot canyon adventure, honestly, the other Peekaboo Slot Canyon is, in my opinion, a much better time. So we're currently driving out from the Slot Canyon and we encountered a Jeep that had gotten stuck in the sand. Fortunately, there were already a couple of other Jeeps there helping them and they had a winch ready to pull them out. Just a good reminder, you need to make sure that you are confident with your driving abilities and your vehicle before attempting a road like this. It's extremely sandy. And as I said earlier, I would not be driving this road on my own, even with the same truck that my husband's currently driving. Definitely a very rough, difficult drive, potentially risky if you don't have the right vehicle or skills. So my husband just told me that he would not want to do this drive again just to go to that slot canyon. Jury's still out whether it's worth it or not for you, but I don't know. Is the juice worth the squeeze on this one? So we're currently heading out to the Great Chamber, and this is another location around Kanab that requires a high clearance 4-wheel drive vehicle to access. Road isn't as sandy as the road out to Peekaboo Slot Canyon, but it's definitely still very sandy. Kanab is definitely a place where you want to have a high clearance 4-wheel drive vehicle, especially if you want to get out to some of the more remote places out here. And good tires is also really important. I would recommend having an all-terrain tire versus like a standard highway tire. Honestly, the more robust your vehicle, the better. So, thoughts on the Great Chamber. That was kind of miserable. It was extremely windy by the time that we got up there. It was not windy at the car, and it's a very short walk to get up there. I understand how it formed. There was sand pelting me in the face, just all over the place, blowing everywhere. The wind was just so relentless, but the photos that my husband got were pretty cool, I have to say. I don't know if I would recommend coming out here unless you're a photographer or you want to get some cool photos. I just don't think it's worth the drive and the potential lacerations from all the sand blowing on you. But truthfully, if you're just coming out to southern Utah, you want to see some cool things, you want to go hiking, explore, I don't know if it's worth the trip out here just to see a giant sand dune cave. If you're here for photos, that might be a different story, but I'm not quite sure it's worth it, especially if you're here on like a one-time trip. Oh, it's one of the most brutal things I've done in a while.